Hello, good people. Welcome to our show. Hello, bad people. Welcome to our show. Hello, guys. I don't care good, bad. I care only about knowledge that you can get on this podcast. I'm so excited to discuss today about AI. I think it's hard to ignore this topic. That was simple but impossible. Tomorrow, we need to jump on this field because if you ignore AI today, AI will ignore you tomorrow. I'm so excited to discuss this topic with Jeff Riddall. How are you?
Very good. How are you, Anatoly? Thank you
Yeah,
for having me again. Appreciate the
oh,
opportunity.
yeah, I remember all your valuable insights, valuable bombs. You always lead me to an emergency room where I need to spend time to consume all this information, to think how to, in a way, develop my strategies to go ahead. Because in marketing, it's very important to adapt, to go ahead, to develop. Because if something works today, doesn't mean it works forever. You need to develop. Jeff,
Things
before
are
we
always evolving.
yeah, exactly. Jeff, I have new listeners who might not know you. So tell more about yourself, background, and anything that can help our listeners to learn more about you.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm the currently the senior product manager at One Local. One Local is a digital marketing platform. We help small local service-based businesses grow their businesses online. Been doing this for a long time. This sort of online digital marketing. I've been at it for over 20 years. Focusing on content, SEO, analytics, a little bit of everything. And I've certainly seen the evolution of digital marketing over that time. And here we are talking about the latest and greatest, which is AI. So looking forward to a good conversation.
Yeah, nice. I think in marketing, evolution is everywhere. If you don't change strategies, if you can't adapt, you can't go ahead, you can't be productive. Because I like this quote from Gary Vee. He said that marketers destroy all channels. So if something works, all marketers come to this place. And if you want to get results, you need to develop what you have. Jeff,
Yeah, and the challenge I think for a lot of our customers, again, small local service-based businesses, is they're busy trying to run their business.
yeah.
They don't have time to keep up with what's the latest and greatest in SEO or Google Ads or AI. So our goal is to really sort of help them navigate that and yeah, again, grow their business by whatever means possible.
Yeah, yeah, awesome, awesome. Yeah, I agree. Many things are coming, and I can't implement a teeny percent of new interesting insights, but I focus. I think it's important to focus because jack of all trades can know something, but can't be the best in specific niches. Jeff, can you
Yeah.
tell where to start by using AI in for local SEO? Because I still see when content creators complain about the quality of getting results with AI, and I think I disagree with common thinking when someone can tell that AI is not replacing human beings. AI is replacing someone who don't implement AI, who don't play with this tool. Because if you can beat AI today, I'm not sure you can beat tomorrow.
Right.
Someone who can use AI. So can you tell where to start, what to do? Because according to some studies, many people still ignore AI.
Yeah.
25% of all occupations only adapt to AI, and 75% can ignore. Why? What's going on?
Yeah, I think you made a good point. The word you used was focus, and it's where you focus and how you look to leverage AI. Now you mentioned AI for SEO. I actually think that's one that's still coming, but there are a lot of places that local businesses can look to leverage AI to help um, help speed up some of the simpler tasks that they may have. A lot of it, I mean, we know that there's a couple of different types of AI out there. So there's sort of generative AI, which I think is the kind of the hottest one right now, right? The
Mhm.
Chat GPT, and it's going to create content for me. I do think that that's sort of the low hanging fruit, if you will, opportunities for local businesses. So for instance, maybe you need to create content on your website, right? And don't have a whole lot of time or necessarily know what content that should be. So using AI as a way of initially creating that content, providing sort of a brief or a guideline, maybe the first draft even of that content, but then going in and making it unique, personalizing it, editing it. That's one thing I will absolutely guard against is that don't assume that AI is, don't put it on autopilot. Think of it as your co-pilot, right? Where it's going to help, but it's not going to replace. So that would be one example. Website content, blog content. We all know that creating content is important from an SEO perspective. I like to say sometimes that really modern SEO is about out-contenting your competition. If you're creating more authoritative content than your competitor down the street, content that helps answer the questions that your customers have, regardless of what your business is. So let's use a real simple example. I'm a plumber. I'm going to create content about how to unclog a drain, how to diagnose an issue that you're having with your plumbing before you call a plumber. I want lots of content that educates and informs my customers, but I'm a plumber. I'm busy plumbing, doing the work. So I don't have a whole lot of time to create all this content. That's where AI can come in, right? Have AI create some blogs and some other types of content that you can then take, post, and help to build your authority. Now, again, the thing to guard against is taking it and just posting it, right? Without putting your own unique twist or spin on it. Otherwise, we're going to end up with a whole bunch of content out there. And I think this is what a lot of people fear, is that because everybody's starting to use AI, that everybody's going to just publish the same content, right? Every plumber is going to go and say, give me a piece of content about unplugging drains. And suddenly we're going to have a million plumbing sites that all have exactly the same piece of content because we're all using ChatGPT to create it. So I think the piece of advice is, how do you make that blog that you started with unique? How do you make it yours? Maybe even just incorporating that link to your service page, referencing your business, or maybe putting in an anecdote or a story about how you solved an issue for a particular customer, right? That was what that's the piece that will help to make it unique. So that's one example. Another really quick one that we're actually using at One Local is review responses. So we all know from an SEO perspective, reviews are hugely important. Another sort of major factor for a local service business is, who has the most positive reviews and who's engaging, not just who has the most, but who's engaging with those reviews. So when I get a review, am I responding quickly, whether it's a positive or negative review, and saying, hey, thanks for the great review, appreciate it, feel free to refer us. Again, small local business, the plumber gets a review. He doesn't have the time necessarily to think of, what's my response going to be? How am I going to, put together something that sounds good, and when am I going to have time to do it? You could potentially use AI to quickly look at your business, what the business does, the services you offer. Obviously, take the name of the person who submitted the review and generate a really quick, here's a 3-4 sentence response. Now, before you hit reply on the response, the plumber can take a quick read through it and say, that sounds okay. Or I want to make sure that I put my little twist on it, or maybe something doesn't sound quite right because I don't quite trust AI yet. Make my small adjustment or edit, hit reply, right? And that's something that, first off, it saves them the time of having to come up with the reply, think about it. And second is, it just makes sure that they do it, because unfortunately, a lot of times, small businesses, they get all of these reviews, but then they don't bother to respond, positive or negative. And it's not just the review, it's the response, right? Google and the search engines are getting smart enough to recognize when people are engaging with their customers. That's part of your authority, is, are you taking the time to answer questions? Are you taking the time to engage with your audience? So there's a couple of quick examples of where AI
Yeah.
can really help with a small business.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I agree about checking your if you write response with AI, it's better to edit manually. Because I often see on LinkedIn when someone leave comments, AI written comments.
You
You can
can tell, right?
yeah, you can feel the smell. It's AI written, and it's interesting when you can feel it. I understand people don't understand what they submit, so probably they just ask AI without understanding why they need to leave this review. It's like this not good smell. Yeah, and I like your example about plumbing when you shared, for example, if some plumbers can write how to prevent ordering their services. Can you tell more about that? For example, plumbers can write content, create content, how to prevent ordering plumbing services. It might hurt their business. What is the reason to do it? I mean, like you can increase trust, you can share value, or anything else. I think if customers can get value, that means if something happen that they can't control, they will order from this plumbers. Am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and Google's looking for that too. They've clearly said that we've heard this acronym. I don't know if everybody out there has, but EAT: expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Those
Mhm.
are the really important factors that help to determine your authority in Google's eyes. And so, how do you establish authority? Well, you have to have content that you've created that proves that you're an authority on the topic, right? Again, if you're doing it and your competitors aren't, um, you're a you use our plumber example, right? You can give them an article on how to do it that your customer isn't necessarily going to still be confident enough that they can do it on their own, right? And they appreciate that you gave them the opportunity to try, but when the next, or maybe they'll go ahead and they'll do that really simple little thing, and maybe you didn't get that half-hour job, but somewhere down the line, if they have a bigger issue, it's not just a simple clogged drain. It's, I don't know, my tub is leaking or something, something more major. You're the one that they're going to call, and or because you created that content in the first place, you're the one that's going to show up in the search results when they go and do a search, right? Particularly again, if you're the one creating that content and your competitor isn't.
Mhm.
That's my take on it. Is you have to establish authority by proving your expertise, and the only way you can do that is through content. And on top of the blog content, maybe you're also doing podcasts. Plumbers aren't going to do podcasts, but maybe you're doing a quick video, right? When you're in the field, maybe you're doing a quick video. Now that's not AI, but I'm just thinking of ways that you're going to again establish your authority. It's through that content. So getting knowing that, having ways of leveraging AI to help is going to be hugely important for small local businesses. That the only way that they can keep up, I
Yeah,
think, in the long run will be by leveraging tools like AI, right?
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, another good example, web chat, right? We all seen web chat. We've seen live chats, but we've also seen some web chat. Web chat's just getting better and better, where
Mhm.
the AI is able to index, review all of the content within your website. So let's just keep using our plumber's example. If I'm a plumber, I want to have a chat option on my site that is referencing all of the content I have in my site to provide the answers to questions, to the simple common questions that people have, right? So customer comes on the site, how do I unclog it? I don't know what kind of question. Like, probably most people that are coming to a plumber's website are really just wanting to try and find out how to use the service. So maybe it's a simple, how do I request a quote? Fine, send a link to the quote page.
Yeah.
or simple things like that. But for the more detailed things, if somebody has a question about a particular service, like I don't know, drain clogging as an example, type in drain clogging, the AI references and pulls the content to answer the question based on the website content, right? That's another good example. I think AI-based web chats are getting better at doing that.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I remember once I spoke with a customer, and I advised to create blog content, and I got the reply why I need to do it, because you need to bring value first. You need to share value. Customers, I don't remember exactly the number, like 75%, something like this, can order from companies if they get value first. It like creates the feeling guilt to give something back. And the customer replied to me, I can't create content about my services. And this company helps to open businesses in United Arab Emirates, and this company can earn like a few $1 million revenue, but it takes 5 minutes to open the business in this country online. You don't need any services, any help, and yeah, that was hard to find content ideas. I told them, okay, let's create content about why you need to have the business in United Arab Emirates, how it can help you. If you don't want to share how you can do it, okay, skip this topic. Yeah, and I remember another example. One lawyer found that all his customers, most of his clients, play golf, and he started to create content about golf.
Sure.
And he got 1 million contracts, good contracts, because he found these ideas. Can you tell how to find such ideas? I mean, like related ideas to your business.
Well,
if I can, yeah,
sure.
share.
I mean, that's the AI, right? Absolutely. You at its core, ChatGPT and the rest have simply pulled all of the information from have indexed the web and have all of that information readily available. Now, the key to getting the right information is how you prompt that AI to give you the right responses. And so that's about providing the right context to the AI about your business, about your customers. So provide me with a list of articles for this location, because sometimes that location matters as well, right? Because if I'm a plumber in Florida versus being a plumber I'm in Canada, up here in Canada, asking for recommendations on blog posts in the middle of winter will get you, if you provide the context of in the winter, will give you a whole different set of suggestions. Because pipes aren't going to be freezing in Florida, but they certainly will be up here in Canada. So yeah, a lot of the challenge or the trick to getting the right information out of AI is giving it the right instructions in the first place, right? Ultimately, it can only respond based on the input. Good input, good input, good output. Ultimately, and if you don't get the right answer the first time, you can refine. So go back to our example of review responses. Something that we've built into our review response tool, as well as we've done it with our messaging, our SMS messaging as well, is that opportunity to regenerate. So if you didn't like the first answer, let the AI know, and the next and regenerate, and it'll give you another answer. And you can continue to regenerate and continue to teach the AI, no, this is what I wanted, or that didn't fit my request. So it's all about sort of continually training the AI until it gets to the optimal answer. And that's I think the key, the long-term key is AI will learn over time, right?
Yeah.
What works and what doesn't work. And we'll pay attention and help to build better answers, better content as you go.
Yeah. Can you tell how we can rely on AI? I mean, like on the quality of these responses to reviews, because it's very important to I don't know, like, because new customers can read these reviews and most customers read them. Old customers who left these reviews wanna know the response, so it's important to provide this quality response. Can you tell how we can rely to AI on this, and if you can share some prompts or anything that we need
Yeah,
to check?
yeah, I think again, ultimately it's the prompt, right? So what we do for our own business and our tools is we provide as much context as we can about the business. Again, so it's a plumbing business. It's located in, you know, this area. We, you know, feed the Google Business Profile information for the business into the AI to give the right context. And then, you know, ideally you would also look at, well, what services do they provide, so that, and then obviously you're looking at the initial review itself, right? So the review that came in, you know, you're going to feed that into the AI to say provide a response to this specific review, and it's going to pay attention to the content, the words and phrases that are used within that review. And you know, from my experience, and then through the testing we've done over time, they're pretty accurate. To your point, you know, you can't always necessarily tell that it was written by AI. That you know, some minor tweaking maybe. You know, you're changing. If the person didn't provide their name, maybe you want to provide their name as an example. You know, to incorporate that into the response to make it more personal. If they didn't reference the service, but you know what the service was that was provided, right? Because you obviously you offered the service, you provided the service, you've got that context, then incorporate that. To your point, you do want to edit, but I think for the most part, and we've seen a lot of cases, we're tracking that a lot of our customers are just using exactly what the AI provides. Like, you know, yep, hit respond. That's good enough for me. Hit respond. Yeah, I think you know, from anecdotally, I think you can rely on what is providing, particularly when they're small, right? Small, short phrases. You know, if we're talking about big blog posts or full pages of web content, then absolutely you need to review. But with smaller things, and you know, even though it's small, though, I think this is the key point, right? Even though that small review response, it's, you know, 3 or 4 sentences. How long would it have taken that plumber, if he had 10 reviews one day, to respond to them all, right? If you're talking about 10 or 15 minutes per, now you're over an hour writing review responses versus respond or tweak and respond.
Yeah, got it. I think if you are not satisfied with the quality, you can write review yourself and edit with AI, as I usually do, because AI can write much better than me. I'm terrible writer, but I can ask AI, please edit.
I'll give yourself some credit.
Yeah, and it's interesting about these AI detectors, popular today, these tools, and it's simple to I played with these tools. I check some writers and even great writers who can write for Forbes, Investopedia. All of them use AI, and I usually check with AI detectors. But I found one way how you can cheat the tool. I mean, like, simple prompt, just add in your prompt, write in conversational tone. If you search any information about blog writing, about content writing, almost all guides can tell you need to use conversational tone. Then you can ask ChatGPT to write in conversational tone, and AI detector can't find it. And even if you edit your reviews, I mean, like, to respond to reviews, you can use this prompt, conversational tone, and customers can't understand it. So yeah, it looks like human written.
Yeah. No, I think at the end of the day, that's the key, right? Is that it looks like, feels like, we've been talking a lot for a while now about how, the Google has been trying to, from an SEO perspective, crawl and index and identify the quality of content and the quality of the experience a user has on a website. I've always said that sites are built for two audiences. There's humans and Google. Well, the two of them are very, very much closer together than they've ever been. Like Google looks at a website like a human would look at a website. There was actually I saw a Search Engine Journal article yesterday where Google basically confirmed that the number one factor in their sort of indexing and crawling and indexing decisions is the quality of the content.
Mhm.
So that really is everything. So the word of warning is absolutely use AI to generate that blog or generate that web page, but review and insert before, again,
Yeah,
co-pilot, not autopilot.
yeah.
Right.
I think Google can say about the quality of content since 2000.
No,
Well,
right. Yeah.
yeah, create quality content. Jeff, I want to ask about the future of this quality content because, in 2008, when I started my digital journey, I ignored blog content. I ignored info content because Google was not smart enough. We created e-commerce content and Google ranked well. Today, of course, things change a lot. You can't cheat the system. You need to understand user intent, think more about human being. But I'm not sure about the future because we have chatbots, we have search generative experience, probably. And it's interesting. I like when people complain that Google can steal our clicks to show content in feature snippets, but AI, ChatGPT can steal a lot more without even linking to you. If in feature snippets you have the chance to get this link, but in ChatGPT you can't. It's just stolen. We don't know from which content. It doesn't matter. But yeah. What do you think about the future? Is it a good idea today to think about creating blog content if Google keep decreasing the number of clicks from search engines? We have chatbots that can take some attention, from info content. So, any
Yeah.
tips about that?
Well, I don't know. For our audience, for small local businesses, I'm not too concerned about it.
Mhm.
Now, if I were a bigger business, if I were a publisher, if I were larger enterprise, creating reams and reams of content, I
Mhm.
probably would be a little bit more concerned about it. That being said, again, I think it's important to inject some uniqueness, even if you're a small local business. I don't foresee small local businesses necessarily blocking ChatGPT from crawling their sites. I mean, there is that opportunity, right?
Yeah,
That's something that's
of
coming.
course.
There's an opportunity to do it. But do they, does a small local plumber really care whether or not ChatGPT is crawling them? Probably not. Probably not. Right? You're more focused on your own business, your own community.
Mhm.
So, yeah, from my perspective, I'm not too concerned about that. But what I am concerned about, just at a broader level, is all that sameness, right? That potential for there not to be enough unique content. Like what especially a small local business has, that, and every business will have this, is their own story, right? Their own set of customers, their own set of stories that they've developed over time through work that they've done for their customers, right? So I don't know, some funny anecdote about that clogged drain that you
Mhm.
worked on one time, or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be, right? And that uniqueness, I don't think, is necessarily something that is going to be stolen or is important enough to anybody to steal and repurpose. I don't think there should be necessarily a concern, or not at least for my audience at
Mhm.
this point.
Yeah, nice. Jeff, I often get the question how to compete with big brands like Zillow, like Yelp, uh, companies that can occupy the top 10 results. And for example, if I want to check my personal experience by using Google, if I see Zillow, I can click to Zillow because I know content is quality.
Yep.
I can get the structure that I don't I know. I know that I can find pictures, descriptions, everything what I need. The same with Yelp, the same with many other big companies. So how small companies can compete with them? How they can, I don't know, outrank them or get more traffic? What to do if you have such huge competition?
Yeah. Well, I think I know what you can't do. You can't do nothing, right? So and so you can't just be complacent. So for me, it goes back to the Google Business Profile. I think is primary for a lot of small local service businesses, small local businesses in general. That Google Business Profile is as important, if not more important, than their website, than their blog. It becomes sort of that. It's these days you can do everything from a Google Business Profile. Your customers can. They can call you, they can message you, they can ask for directions, they can click to go to your website. Like all of those things are possible. Now, what are the things you need to do to your Google Business Profile to improve its visibility? Well, you got to make sure that it's as up to date as it possibly can be. So you need to have proper, a description of your business, products, all of that information is really important. But you also need to post to it. You need to be engaged with your community through it. So how do you do that? How do you create more content? And what is that? Ultimately, that's content. So create more content that you can post. And again, maybe there you leverage AI because you don't have a whole lot of time to do it, to come up with, a few posts a week. You create a blog post, and then maybe there are other smaller posts that you post to GVP that AI can help you with, right? So or at least give you some ideas. What should I post to? What should I post to my? I'm a small plumber in X in in I don't know, Key West. What sorts of topics should I post to my customers, or what topics might resonate with my customers, and get a list of suggestions of things that you could post. Obviously post and incorporate images. So if you have before and after photos of work that you've done for your customers, posting that to Google Business Profile, because those map results will show up above. To go back to your question, will show up above the Zillows and the Yelps and the right now. If in some cases, if you can't beat them, join them, right? So if for certain words that are searched, maybe like plumber in Key West as an example, and Yelp shows up, you at least better make sure that you have a Yelp listing, right? And that Yelp listing is as up to date and accurate as it can be, and is consistent with all of your other directory listings and your Google Business Profile. That's something that you have to make sure happens. And then at the same time, you work on your own stuff, right? You work on building up your own local authority so that it's Zillow, it's Yelp. There I am, right? I'm the next one. Unless over time I can convince Google through enough authority. And if people are doing, very locally centered or locally oriented searches, in time, perhaps I do leapfrog those bigger guys. That happens too. It depends on, what those words and phrases are that your customers are searching for. If there's things like near me, maybe Yelp doesn't show up, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, again, to even have a chance against those bigger guys, you have to be doing the table stakes, right? You have to have a good website. You have to have a good Google Business Profile. You have to be creating content. If you're not doing those things, then you've got no chance.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah. Love it. Love it. I think big companies can get a lot, occupy a lot, but can't occupy everything. So you still have a room, to take some part of the market. And Jeff, I want to ask about, you mentioned examples about Florida. you are in Canada, yeah?
Yes.
So I think you can help customers in Florida, in any local area, but can you tell how to learn local mentality? According to many marketing guides, you need to understand people in different locations. You need to create content for these people. We have some difference in Florida, in Canada, in Alaska, not know, any other places. So tell your tips how you can help customers in different areas.
Um, I think it's just by sort of getting to know their business. And I mean, we also tell our customers that there's some work they have to do too, right? It's not just us. Is that they can't, again, very much the same. They have to assume or think of us as a co-pilot as well. Don't just put us on autopilot. They will absolutely know their customers and their community better than we will. So it's collaborative. Now, from the AI perspective, I think I already alluded to this. There's no reason why you can't provide that context to the AI to help with, as an example gave previously, right? If it's a plumber writing an article about plumbing in winter, if you provide the right context to the AI, you'll get a much different response. If you say that, I'm based in or I'm located in Florida versus I'm located in Canada. There's enough content written out there already, that context will help. And then it may take some tweaking over time to get to that right place. But yeah, I do think, the more context, the better. And we also talk about providing AI with persona. Like, how much of a persona can you give the AI about who the customer is, who the audience is, right? I service this community and maybe people who are in this demographic, new homeowners versus exist old homeowners, as an example. That may make a difference in what the AI returns. Again, a lot of it just really comes down to honing that prompt down to as specific as it can be.
Yeah, you unhided my secrets. Yeah. Because I can create content for a specific country, but AI can help me to adapt this content to different cities, districts, countries. It doesn't matter. For example, today we can translate some content for different languages, and we got traffic from Japan, Turkey, many countries because of translating with AI. By the way, I don't know why some content creators complain that companies can fire people because of AI. I do it as well because AI can provide a better job. It doesn't mean that it's a good idea to fire, but if I can save 10K because of using AI and AI can do this job better, I think if you lost your job, you need to adapt to think how you can become prompt experts. You can make a lot of things to adapt to these challenges, but you need to think that companies are looking for ways how to get more results or save money. For example,
and replace the sort of the menial tasks and the things that people don't typically want to do, or that just take an awful lot of time and are sort of the monotonous things, right? Research, doing a lot of research on a particular topic. Well, it takes time because we're humans. It just takes us a lot of time. Where where machines can just work much quicker. They can identify patterns. They can analyze lots and lots of data and come back with educated recommendations.
Two reasons. The first reason, I can get results much faster. For example, I don't need to search for someone who can translate to Japanese. And the second, even with AI, we compare results and we got better results after translation with AI, because I can use prompts. Please consider Japanese culture, mentality, yakuza, anything, and it works well. And I think I understand why companies can fire people, but even if you lose the job, just think how you can adapt, what to change, because I was denied many times in my life, and it makes you only stronger, when you go ahead, when you think how you can change anything in your life. So yeah. And Jeff, I want to ask about your experience. I asked this question before, but
Sure.
I still get this question from new audience, from students, from companies that want to get the basic, how to learn from scratch. I think you can get much higher results if you understand what you do, because the best experts can't help you. You need to understand how it works, why you need to create high quality content, why we need to use AI, how to use it right. And if you understand, then you can cooperate with experts. Because, for example, if you ask me to write great content, how to play guitar, how to lose weight, I can't.
Right.
Even by using
Because
AI.
you're not the expert, right? You have to be a subject. You have to be a subject matter expert to begin with to know what the questions are to ask, right?
Yeah. So tell how to learn local SEO from scratch, how to get the basic of knowledge.
Wow, that's a great question. There's lots of great resources out there. So I write for Search Engine Journal as an example. There's Search Engine Land. There are, lots of resources for learning local SEO. All that being said, I know we've spoken before. I'm all about demystifying local SEO or SEO in general, and letting people know, and our customers included, that at the end of the day, the only thing you need to know about local SEO is that you need to convince Google that you're the authority on the keywords, the services, keywords related to the services that you want to be found for. And how do you establish authority? Well, content. You have to be engaged in your local community. You have to provide a good service and have people validate that service through reviews. You have to get other businesses and other local organizations to validate you through links, right? So having, if you belong to a local chamber of commerce, if you belong to a local, service organization, links from those to your business, all of those things will help to establish authority. So if I don't think ultimately that you have to have a good website. You have to have a well-structured, properly and filled and comprehensive Google business profile. Like, these are sort of the basic table stakes of local SEO. I like to say there's not a lot of magic. Like, learning local SEO, yes, there are tips and tricks to doing the technical aspects of it. That's the stuff that you can learn through, take courses or read through Search Engine Journal, Search Engine Land, Search Engine Watch. Those types of publications have lots of really good information, lots of good workbooks and ebooks that you can download to learn about the technical aspects. But at the end of the day, it's, for local SEO, it's about running a really good business and getting people locally to validate it and convincing Google, I'm located in this location, I provide good services, all my customers say I provide good services, and I create a lot of good content for them to to reference and read, and that's what makes me an authority. And in time, if you continue to do those things consistently, that should, move you up the search results ladder ultimately.
Nice. Yeah, love it. Awesome. Yeah, I think you need to learn, you need to practice, because without practice, you can forget fast about getting skills. And I remember one study shares that people forget 50% of after reading a new book in the first hour. So in the first hour, you can forget 50%. The second 50% in a few days. So that is why it's very important to make notes and to practice. And can you tell about focus? It's interesting. If I read about local SEO, I can get a lot of tips, insights, but it takes time to craft this experience. Can you tell how to focus on that? I mean, like if I have checklist, 100 points, what I need to do,
Yeah.
start it from Google business profile and go, and yeah, any tips how to do it right?
Yeah, I think focus starts with making sure that you have all the foundational things, like you already replied to it, referred to it, right? So Google Business Profile website, like that's your focus should be there first. I think it works sort of top up. It's foundational. Make sure all your foundation is strong, and then you're sort of building on top of that. For me, focus when it comes to SEO is making sure we're focusing on the right keywords and the right content. What are the things that I have some level of authority for already? Now, if I'm starting from scratch, brand new business, it's going to be difficult. Admittedly, will be difficult. It will take time for you to convince customers or Google or anybody that you're an authority. So you have to start somewhere, and typically, for a new business, it's what are my core services? What are the things I do really well, or what are the things that I are driving the most revenue for my business? Maybe that's what I should be focusing on, and then building and establishing authority on those things sort of one at a time. Now, if over time, and this is where analytics come into play, you identify that, hey, Google is recognizing me for service X or Y, maybe that's where I should turn my focus, because if I've established some level of authority for this service, even if it's not my top revenue driver, but I'm starting to show up in the search results, maybe because people have been giving me lots of good reviews on that service, or whatever the case may be, whatever's put me in the spotlight as far as focus, and then I should start leveraging that to build the authority of the other things I want to be found for, right? Like everything should work off of each other. But you're right. I mean, there's so many things you could do.
Yeah.
Coming up with a focus, analytics has a big role to play in that. That's one of the things actually I wanted to mention before we just in case we run out of time, is we talked AI wise, we've talked a lot about primarily generative AI. We've talked about creating content and all of these different ways we can leverage AI for that. The other big piece that's coming, it's already here to some degree, and it's going to just keep coming, is predictive analytics using AI. Is AI is really good at identifying patterns and making, again, those sort of educated recommendations for what to do next, how to optimize. Nowhere is that more important than looking at analytics, right? Because analytics is, again, one of those things that you have to spend a lot of time usually digging in and kind of getting a sense for how did consumers interact, or what did the buyer journey look like, how did someone become a customer, what were all of those interactions, and how do I optimize the path that my customers take to convert? AI can really help with that, right? Can take all of that data about your customers and about, and maybe, for companies like us, we'll be looking at not just a single customer, but all of our customers across an industry or across a particular vertical, and say, what's the optimal conversion path, or how do we build a journey that gets people to take a call to action, become a lead, become a prospect, or sorry, become a prospect, then become a lead, become a customer. Using AI for things like that moving forward is going to be huge, right?
Yeah.
Because we can have data analysts who are there to try and make sense of all that data, but we know, just as with everything else, AI is going to be able to do it much quicker.
Yeah.
Right. We'll still need somebody to analyze what the AI produces.
Yeah.
and then to take action on that, right? That's, okay, now we know
100%.
how to optimize. Okay, let's go ahead and optimize. But yeah, that's another piece, whether it's small local business or big business, that AI is going to have a big role to play moving forward, for sure.
Yeah, valuable. I agree. I couldn't agree more with that. I think, I don't know why people complain SEO takes time. Show me the channel that doesn't take time. You can become an Instagram star for a few months. You can't. Mr. Beast spent an year and a half to get first 1,000 subscribers. So he didn't give up because he loves this experience to create content video, and the first videos were terrible. And I don't know how to grow on LinkedIn for a few days overnight to get the success. It takes SEO takes time.
Everything
All
takes time.
channels,
Yes.
yeah, all channels take time. You can't become a champion in boxing just after a few training. You need to spend so much time in local competition, national competition to go ahead. Everything takes time. You need to love what you do. You need to be patient. Then results will come. Yeah. So SEO is not different from other channels.
No, absolutely
and
not.
and I like when someone can tell, oh, in paid marketing you can get results in a few days. No, you can't. I know many companies that lost 500K and got 0 leads, nothing, because you need to have experience how to create high quality content. If you can create with SEO, you can move to other channels.
Yes.
Of course, if you have some special products, super unique,
Super unique. That will be the only difference, right? If there's something that you are so differentiated on
yeah,
that there is no other content, that there is no other authority,
then
there
SEO will
are
bring results fast.
maybe quicker, but yeah, that is it. I mean, so again, if we're talking about local small service businesses, unfortunately, in most cases, it's going to take a lot of time. I know, for some of our clients, one of the things that's frustrating is legacy also has a lot to do with getting found and having authority. So businesses that have been around a long time, right?
Yeah.
How do you fight that? Well, the only chance you have, again, this goes back to kind of your question about Zillow and Yelp, is if there are competitors, you're brand new to the scene and you've got a competitor who's been doing it 10 years, then you have to do that much more. If they're doing nothing, right, you have to do that much more. Now, if they're actually doing something well, like they've been around 10 years and they're doing all the right SEO stuff, then it's really going to take time, right? There's just there's no silver bullet. I say that all the time. I know a lot of people when they think about SEO and being found, that okay, well, just tell me what the trick is. What's the like how do we just get what's the magic? What's that? What do we got to do? Well, yeah, if I knew, believe me, I tell you.
Yeah, there is no magic.
No magic.
We have no silver bullets. We have no golden button, but patience, love what you do.
Best practices.
Yeah, stand out from the rest, just to go ahead. And yeah, results will come if you love it, if you focus. And yeah, if you cooperate with great experts like Jeff Riddall. Okay, Jeff, tell our audience the best way how to keep learning from you, how to reach out to you, how to follow you.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. Well, I'm pretty much everywhere. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram, although you see a lot of dog pictures on Instagram. And if you want, you can even email me. It's jeff.r@onelocal.com. Yeah, welcome to reach out however you like, and always happy to talk AI or SEO or analytics or content or anything digital marketing related. So
nice,
I
guys.
appreciate the time again, Anatoly.
Yeah, big pleasure. Guys, you can find all links in the description below. Listen us on Apple, Google, Spotify. Thanks again. Love it. So valuable. Guys, I recommend to anyone to follow Jeff on LinkedIn because you can see a lot of value. I personally follow and recommend you. Okay, guys, love you.